Now, this is Baruch here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and here we're continuing on with the Sea of Wisdom, Rabbi Yitzchak, Meir, Morganstern. Revealing the light of Mashiach of Netach and Hod, Netach and Hod. What is it about? What's pshat in Netach and Hod? When a person begins a new learning seder, he finds himself in a spiritual state known as Ibor, which means gestation or pregnancy. Gestation or incubation, in other words. We see a manifestation of this in the common experience of failure to deeply understand the material while learning. So I had this experience this morning as I was learning something and I couldn't get it. Just too many complications. It is so hard and it seems to progress painfully slowly. At this part, people generally react in one of two ways. They either give up, thinking since it is very difficult to understand the depths of the sugya, why should they ever even bother? It's just too hard. Or they can also plug away, working at the sugya and struggling to understand each word and concept. Those who find the patience to persevere continue to toil until they suddenly and unexpectedly find that the sugya has been illuminated. Everything is clear all at once. The learning flows and all challenges dissipate. This latter reaction includes two crucial aspects and bears a very significant relationship with the meaning of Chanukah. The first aspect is Netzach, which can be translated as endurance or victory. In other words, the endurance that brings you to victory. And the second is Hod, which means splendor. So the splendor of Hashem is revealed when a person recognizes the abundance of good in his situation. Now that can be very hard to do, especially living in the world of Esav. Esav thinks that the only good things are feelings, that you can drink enough, you can have enough sex, you can have all these explanations and so on and so forth. That's all he thinks, and we live in his world. But when a person recognizes the abundance of good in his situation, that God is in you, so there's such an extent that he even finds it in himself to praise Hashem, he finds a way to say thank you, Hodor, despite the challenges that he faces. He reveals the splendor of Hashem by internalizing the fact that every single experience is sent to refine him. The attitude of Hod is never give up. And such persistence reveals the splendor of Hashem in a very powerful way. Of course, if a person feels broken and depressed about the challenges he faces in learning, this attitude in of itself prevents him from grasping and understanding the sukya, so he starts complaining, and you go into the world of negativity. If a person follows the path of Hod, but he keeps going, he will eventually arrive at Netach, victory. So he said, look for the splendor, keep going for it, and eventually you will get there. This represents the perseverance of willpower to keep working until one experiences a breakthrough. This takes tremendous effort, for one must consider every word and nuance until he finally comprehends. When he understands, it means that he has finally broken through the internal klipos. Klipos are the shells that hide the light of God. The Chanukah light of Netzach and Hod. Now, the Ari says that Chanukah and Purim both represent Netzach and Hod. Not respectively, but both of them represent Netzach and Hod. While lighting the Chanukah candles, one should contemplate the shining flames, or you could look at the flames. Consider that they represent the illumination of Hashem, until one merits to feel the luminescence of Hashem, shining upon one's soul, and lighting up one's life with happiness and joy. The inner experience of the Chanukah lights are twofold. First, let me see if we get this right here. One, experience upper supernal unification. It's called the Yichud Ilah. It's the upper Yichud, the oneness of mating with the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. After one experiences the lower supernal unification, which is called Yichud D'Tod. The upper unification represents the contemplation of the entire expanse of creation, and seeing that it is Elokos. There is no place devoid of him, and there is nothing besides him. ein od milvado. This is the meaning of Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. The lower unification is achieved by revealing the true dominion of Hashem here on earth. This is an aspect of Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam V'Led. Blessed is the name of the glory of his kingship, forever and ever. This is the true inner desire of every Jew, to make a Kiddush Hashem. Even those who are familiar with these two fairly well-known concepts do not really live them. But if you want to live them, one must be wise in order to extricate himself from the illusions of this world and enter in the first level of Voda, which is an aspect of Ibor. Starting out is conception. Ibor means pregnancy. Just as gestation is a prelude to birth, the levels of Netach and Hod and Yesod are the incubators of every level in Avoda. Now it's interesting that he says he adds right now Yesod as well, because we were talking about Yesod. Yesod represents Yosef HaTzadik. Hod implies thanking Hashem for every single good turn. He does, every single good turn he does. Hashem doesn't owe anyone anything. For every little kindness, one should be appreciative. One should even express gratitude for that which appears bad, since everything Hashem does is for one's ultimate good. Even when a person feels surrounded by obstacles and doesn't feel grateful at all, he's in trouble. On the contrary, he feels completely in the dark. Still, he should express gratitude to Hashem for some good in his life. And he should do it even if the only good that he can appreciate is the next breath, bite, or food, or something like that, or opportunity to perform a mitzvah, even by mere rote. Even if there's no kavanah in it, you just do it because it's the right thing to do. This gratitude arouses the deep well springs of emunah, secreted inside of himself. Arousing his inner faith enables him to receive the power of Netzach. This is the power and willingness to persevere steadfastly, even when things seem completely impossible and hidden. Every door appears to be locked. However, if one will only be firm and keep trying to achieve spiritual elevation, he will eventually gain the true connection to Hashem that he seeks. After spiritual gestation, the birth is complete and one progresses to an intermediate level, which is called Yanika. So Yanika means nursing. So first you have gestation, where Netach, Hod, and Yesod are very important. Here in Yanika, you have Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes are the more important parts. Along with it, the state of the infant, which is when a child who is nursing. One who perseveres in this state eventually reaches the level of godless. If you keep going at the stage of beginning life, which is to start to open up the Sefer and read it, or try to work on it, even if he's explaining, even if it doesn't make sense, you keep going, where he gains a level of completion in the Avodas Hashem. The first step in his serving Hashem is to come to the level of gestation, since any person must give birth to the particular path in Avodas Hashem that he's to follow, which means that everybody is different in the way that they want to be close to Hashem. Gestation is achieved by working on praising Hashem and developing staying power. Keep toiling, even when it is its most difficult. Now here you see that I know in Breslov, the concept is to keep going, just keep going. Even if you don't understand it, keep going. In Kabbalah, we say, well, if you get to a sugya that's very difficult to understand, you do it 3 times. But after 3 times, if it's still not there, keep going. Because we don't want to say that because we can't master one part, so therefore we don't want to learn the whole thing. So we have to keep going. Of course, one's priority is to develop a deep connection to the holy Torah he learns. Once a person feels the sweetness of every single word and enjoys learning, he will surely learn diligently and develop into a lamdan and a Talmid Chacham. And subsequently, with Hashem's help, a Gadol b'Torah, the person will achieve greatness in Torah. The point is to learn with holy sweetness and yearning. The gestation stage of this phase is his desire with all one's heart to recognize the Creator and to feel devekas through learning the Holy Torah. He concludes by saying this: may we be worthy of the Beis HaMikdash of fire, of which a person's personal vision can become experiences in the light of Chanukah. Now, let's see what he said again. The Beis HaMikdash of fire. I'm not familiar really. The Beis HaMikdash Aleish. I'm not sure that I'm familiar with that. Of which a personal vision can be experienced in the light of Chanukah. What does this mean? May we merit the final sealing of the Yom Noah, Royim for good. Everyone should be blessed with Bonai, Chayil, Mezonah. So everybody should have children, life, and food, sustenance, in the merits of the light of Chanukah. May our eyes see the kingship of heaven with the arrival of our righteous Redeemer speedily and in our days. Now, this is a whole period. This is the end of what is written here. Remember that he said that there's a metaphor. I'm just really concerned about what he says, the basic mikdash of fire, where he says that Yaakov is a fire, and that Yosef is which represents the tzaddik and the concept of purity, the pure bris, which are very important to the whole concept of Yiddishkeit, Judaism, that has the power to light the straw. Straw is empty. It's not good for anything. It's leftover. That's the world we live in the world of emptiness and leftover. The tzaddik, Yosef a tzaddik, has the power to be able to light that whole thing on fire, which is the straw, which represents Esav, the agnostic atheist, who really just seeks the desires of his heart. Make as much money, have as much women, eat as much great food as you can, the biggest house, the biggest car. Get in the game for that. That's the world of Esav. That's the world that we live in. And right now, I don't know what's going on in the world. This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Kollel.